Dear students, greetings for the day. Today we will discuss about brewing process of beer. Milling. In order for the malt components to be rapidly extracted and converted, the malt is milled to obtain coarse flour. The grains are soaked in huge tank of water, 6 tons of barley and 6,800 liters of water, at 10 degrees centigrade for 2 to 3 days. Some producer change water in between to provide dry resting period, and grain gets the air also. Grains are taken to malt room, which is very hard. Grains are spread to depth of 15 to 30 cm to allow grain breath while sprouting. Grains are constantly stirred for uniform breathing and to prevent sprout getting entwined. This process goes on for 6 to 15 days at 12 to 21 degrees centigrade. During this process, the insoluble starch gets converted to maltose, and dextrin and rootlets, known as malt scums, appears. Systase. Convert the insoluble starch to soluble starch. Diastase. Convert the soluble starch to sugar. Grain is referred as green malt. Mashing. The flour from the cereals, malt and other unmalted cereals, is mixed with water and subjected to certain processes to obtain a wort of a suitable composition for the kind of beer being produced. Varying times, temperatures and pH. Mashing lasts 2 to 4 hours and finishes with a temperature of approximately 75 degrees centigrade. Filtration of the wort. After mashing, the whole volume is filtered in order to separate the spent grains, which is an excellent animal feed, from the wort itself. This is done by passing water through the mash at the right temperature in a filter press or lauter tun, which lasts around 2 to 3 hours, conducted at a temperature of 75 to 80 degrees centigrade. Boiling the wort. The diluted and filtered wort is boiled for around 2 hours. Hops are added at this stage. The purpose of boiling is to transform and make soluble the bitter substances in the hops, eliminate undesirable volatile substances. Sterilize the wort provoke the precipitation of proteins of high molecular weight, establish the final concentration of wort. After boiling, it is necessary to separate the precipitated protein and the insoluble hop components from the hot wort. Before the hopped wort goes into the fermentation tanks, it is cooled to a temperature of around 9 degrees and aired in sterile conditions. During fermentation, the wort sugars are converted by the transformation of yeast into alcohol and carbon dioxide. Fermentation takes place at controlled temperatures and lasts around 7 days. At first it is quite violent, then slows down gradually until the yeast is deposited on the bottom of the tank. Fermentation is process which convert the sugar into alcohol and CO2. CO2 is stored in a different tank. This process takes 7 to 14 days. During the fermentation, a thick layer of yeast is formed which protect the beer. Maturation, the phase after fermentation, is the period in which the beer is allowed to rest at suitable temperatures in order for the undesirable volatile components, which might affect the final bouquet of the beer, to be released. The next operation is stabilization. This consists of letting the beer stabilize at temperatures of between 0 degree and 2 degree to permit colloidal stabilization. Clarification is the operation that gives the beer its clear limpid quality. It consists of pumping the liquid through a suitable filter. The filtered beer is then stored in tanks, now ready to be bottled. At the bottling stage, the beer is inserted into different forms, bottle, barrel, can etc., to enable it to be appreciated with moderation. This operation may be carried out cold, sterilizing filtration, or hot, using pasteurization, which may be done either immediately before, flash pasteurization, or after the drink is introduced into its container, tunnel pasteurization. The final stage of the beer production process is transferring the beer into different kinds of containers, bottles, barrels, cans etc. Before or after bottling, the beer needs to be biologically stabilized.